Hi guys, welcome back to my channel Britain F1. If you are new here and you like the look of this channel, then please hit the subscribe button down below, and if you do like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. So in today's video I want to talk about Daniel Ricciardo, and I wanted to do this video for a while, but it only seemed right to do it now when he had such a brilliant weekend last weekend at Spa. And I kind of want to ask the question, will Daniel Ricciardo be able to challenge for a championship when he goes to Mclaren next year? And I put a tweet out doing a little poll on Twitter to get your guys' opinion, and I'm going to delve into that in a little while. But I first off want to talk about Daniel's career so far and how I see him as a driver. Now, just a few years ago, Daniel Ricciardo was the new kid on the block. He was the young up-and-coming star who everyone saw as someone who would be challenging for the World Championship, but that just kind of hasn't been the case, and I kind of want to talk a little bit about that as well in today's video. I feel Daniel has kind of slipped back recently with the emergence of such young talent from Max Verstappen, Charles Leclerc, George Russell and Lando Norris. I feel like his time might have passed him to actually challenge for a championship. But you know, he's in his 30s, I think early 30s, and if you compare him to the likes of Lewis Hamilton in my opinion is doing great things now compared to what he was in his 20s. So, you know, never say never, but has his time passed? Let's find out. Now, in my opinion, Daniel Ricciardo is one of the greats on that grid at the moment. Well, for the last few years he has been. He is an incredible driver. He is late on the braking, does amazing overtakes, and you know, has always been one of the class drivers, you can say, is always up there. But up until recently he hasn't been up there because of course he went to Renault, and Renault for me just haven't been able to deliver that car for him, and it's a great shame because he went from Red Bull where he was doing so well, but you know, tensions started to arise there when Max Verstappen went, and the whole team kind of started to form around Max, and Daniel didn't want that. He went out on his own, and as he was part of the Red Bull Academy for most of his career basically, so for him to take a step back from that and go out on his own and go to Renault was quite something for him, and you know, hats off to him for actually doing that. And he went to Renault, and you know, it hasn't been a good time for him personally. They haven't delivered that car, they haven't delivered that package that can challenge the Red Bull, and it's a shame because you know, the likes of Daniel, his talent, he should be up at the front of the grid fighting. But he did go to Renault and he did actually outperform his teammate Nico Hülkenberg, which was quite something because you know, Nico has been one of them drivers who's always been on the grid. He was in Formula 1 for so many years and he's always been there, so for Daniel to go to the team and actually beat him just shows you how good he is, and he's even beating Esteban Ocon this year. Now, for Daniel's time at Red Bull, I felt he was always up against the #1 driver. So of course he was teammates with Sebastian, and by that point Sebastian was a 4-time world champion, so of course the team revolved around him. But when Sebastian left to go to Ferrari, the young Max Verstappen came in and just showed how good he was, because he actually started to outperform Daniel Ricciardo. But I do have a defence for Daniel on that part. If we look back to that, was it the 2017-2018 Red Bull when Daniel was there with Max, the reliability of that Red Bull was shocking. He had so many DNFs, and you know, the car was not great. Red Bull just did not give him a World Championship package where he could challenge, and you know, I totally stick up for Daniel when it comes to that. People are always like, well, Max outperformed him, but the Red Bull carried so many reliability problems that you kind of can't blame Daniel for that. And you know, tensions started to arise within the Red Bull camp, and you know, a few crashes happened between Max and Daniel as well. But for me personally, it was down to Red Bull, who could not give Daniel that package to really challenge up the front. Compared to how we see the Red Bull now. The Red Bull is so competitive with the Mercedes, which is great to see, but that just wasn't the case when Daniel was actually at Red Bull. Now with Daniel as well, we haven't actually ever seen him under pressure when it comes to challenging for a world championship. He's always been there or thereabouts, always kind of at the top, but never really the 1-2 fighting for it. If we compare him to Sebastian, when Sebastian was fighting Lewis in the Ferrari, Sebastian just crumbled under the pressure of challenging for that world championship, and I just feel we haven't seen that from Daniel, so we can't really say how well he would do when he would be fighting for that world championship. Would he crumble under pressure, or will the pressure push him to do better? We just haven't seen that from him yet. Now for the 2021 season, Daniel Ricciardo is actually going to McLaren, which to be fair isn't really a shock for me, because he was previously in talks with McLaren when he left Red Bull, but at that time McLaren were just not great. They had that Honda engine, which was, oh my god, dreadful, and it's a time we all want to forget about. So he actually decided to go to Renault, so I'm really excited for him to go to McLaren for 2021. I think the whole team is going to really suit him. McLaren for me are one of the best teams on the grid for how happy they are, how the environment they work in is happy. And you know, we all know Daniel is that bubbly personality on the grid, and I think him being in such a happy environment is just going to make him better and his driving better. And you know, we all can't wait for that partnership with Lando Norris, because you know, they're both cheeky lads who love a bit of banter, and I think that is just going to make the team even better. You know, you look at Mercedes and they're a team that are happy, and a happy team makes a great team, and that's why I feel McLaren will be able to challenge for a championship. If McLaren can produce a brilliant package, I think they can really be up there, just because, you know, having a happy team produces great results. I also think McLaren have really hit the nail on the head with signing Daniel Ricciardo alongside Lando Norris. I think it's a great marketing strategy as well. You know, McLaren have really reinvented themselves within the last 2 years. By signing Carlos Sainz and Lando Norris was something so refreshing that they needed at a real crucial point, and I think it's just worked wonders for them. And I think by signing Daniel Ricciardo as well is just even better. I think it's a brilliant move from them, and that's why I think they will be able to be up there with the Red Bulls. Now, I put a poll out on Twitter as I wanted to get your guys' opinions on how you feel McLaren are going to do for the future and with the partnership with Daniel Ricciardo. So I put a tweet out asking if you think Daniel Ricciardo will be able to challenge for a championship when he goes to McLaren. Now, it was pretty neck and neck between no and maybe. So 40% said no and 32% said maybe. Now, when you guys were tweeting me, we got a lot of varied opinions, and a lot of what people were saying was they think he can challenge for a championship, but it all depends if McLaren can give him that package. And I totally agree with that. I think it is going to come down to what McLaren can do, and I really hope they can produce a package. You know, next year they're having that Mercedes engine in the back of them, and I think that is going to be really effective. You know, going into this year, I didn't think personally McLaren would be as strong as what they are. They're third in the constructors at the minute with the Renault engine, which is quite something, and you know, it is so close between the midfield, but McLaren for me are coming out on top every weekend. They're making it into Q3 every qualifying. They've had a podium already, which is great, and you know, I think they've been one of the best teams so far this season, and that's just with a Renault engine. Think of what they can do when that Mercedes gets behind them. I think we're really not going to know until next year how good they are, but I want to hope and pray that McLaren can deliver that package that can make them challenge up the front again, and I think they can be up there fighting, challenging the Red Bulls for definitely. So the 2022 regulations are coming soon, and a lot of people think more teams will be closer, which I totally agree, and everyone kind of keeps saying, oh, Mercedes are gonna fall off the grid then, but you know, I just don't see Mercedes falling off the grid that dramatically. So for me personally, I don't think McLaren will be challenging for championship straight away. I think they will definitely be closer than what they are, and I think they'll definitely be challenging the Red Bulls, which is great. I want to see that. But when it comes down to Daniel Ricciardo, I want to hope he can challenge for a championship, because I would love to see that. But personally for me, I think Lando Norris might actually do better than him, because you know, Lando is so young, he's up and coming, he's a great guy. Last season was his rookie season, so he was getting to grips with it. Carlos Sainz was obviously outperforming him, but this year Lando has been outperforming Carlos Sainz, which is quite something, because Carlos has obviously been in Formula 1 a lot longer than him, and he's just such a young bright talent that I think he will definitely give Daniel a run for his money. So I got a tweet from @SpotlightPro, I'm just going to read it out, in regards to what I asked out on Twitter, and they said, it's really hard to say, pessimistically, it's really hard to see McLaren beating their engine suppliers Mercedes, not only on account how incredibly good they've been, but also on how good Hamilton and Russell are. Plus I feel Lando may be faster than Ricciardo in a few years. So I totally feel the same. You know, as I said before, people think Mercedes are going to fall off the grid, but I just don't see that happening. I think Mercedes are still going to be so dominant, even with the new regulation changes, and especially with the partnership, hopefully, that they bring in with George Russell. But I definitely think, you know, McLaren with Mercedes, that partnership is going to be really strong, and I do definitely see them up there challenging for championships, but maybe in a fight with Mercedes. But yeah, coming back to Daniel Ricciardo, because I feel like I've rambled on a little bit, I think he can definitely be up there, but I think the youngsters are going to stop him, and you know, Lando and George are just so quick, and we've seen that in the F2 championship, like how good they are. So I think they are probably going to be the ones who stop Daniel, but hopefully his time hasn't passed him too much where, you know, it's one of those questions, what could have been. So I'm going to leave this video here. Let me know your guys' thoughts on McLaren for the next few years, how you think they will do. Your thoughts on Daniel Ricciardo, do you think he can challenge for a championship? I'm sorry if I have also rambled a lot in this video. I feel like I have, but yeah, just let me know your thoughts in the comments and I'll see if I agree with you. Thanks for watching guys, bye.